Okay, here we go. Number one, if you remember at all, this is going way back to the first day when we did break even point. Okay, how many desks must I sell to break even? Break even again is when revenue equals cost. That's when you break even. When your revenue, the money you bring in, is equal to the cost you put into it. So we're trying to find how many desks. So one variable, that's all this is, one variable. I'll let X equal number of desks. And then you guys will help me find the revenue equation and the cost equation. Okay, let's start with revenue, which is the money you bring in. How much does it cost to buy a desk? To buy a desk, I'm doing revenue first. So I'm going to just put here 450 X. That's it. All right, cost can get a little tricky. Let me first ask you, how much does it cost to make a desk? $200 a desk, but most of the time you're going to have what's called a fixed cost, which means no matter if you make 1 or 100 desks, you still have to pay $60,000. All right, so to this 200X, I'm going to have to add $60,000. Okay, everybody good? So the cost is how much it makes plus whatever's the fixed cost. All right, I will let you know the answer to this one. You can just put it off to the side, is 240 desks to break even. You guys can solve that at the end of class. Okay? Anything you want to ask for break even, you'll see that on the test. All good? And then we move on to the next odd, number 3, which is our good old mixture problem. Yep, mixtures. First couple days. You guys remember these? Percentage, yep. Yep, long time ago. How many solutions am I going to have here? 2, right? So that means 2 variables. All right, I'll let X equal, tell me one type of solution I need. X equals, what type of solution do I need first? 34%. So the amount of 34% solution. What's the other type I'm going to need? 4%. So I'll call that Y. If I'm going too fast or you got issues, let me know. That's why we're reviewing. Yep, odds. We'll do evens tomorrow. Everyone all right with the variables? All right, here's where I like to bust out my beakers when I'm doing a mixture problem. In the first beaker will be my 34% solution, but how do I write 34% before I plug it in? 0.34. How much do I have of it? Look at your let statement. X amount, right? What goes in the next beaker? Be careful here. 0.4 is 40%. 0.04 of Y amount. I'm going to mix them together and get what type of solution out? 7%, so 0.07, but you do know how much you have here. Two variables, 2 equations. You already have the first equation written in the beaker for you. The amount X plus the amount Y should total up to 100. Now I put the percents with them. So 0.34X plus 0.04Y. And you got to be disciplined now. Doesn't equal 0.07. What do you guys have been doing here with these? 0.34 times how much you have. 0.04 times how much you have. 0.07 times how much I have. 100. There you go. Got to be careful with that one. Okay, it's always the percent of the solution times how much you have. I have 4% solution of Y, because that's what I called it in the variable. Here you have 7% of 100. I already know how much. No variable there. So that's why I'm multiplying them. All right, let's clean that up together here. And then I got something to tell you. So 0.34x plus 0.04y is equal to, what do you got there? 7, right? 0.07 times 100. Okay, don't think you have 3 equations. I just cleaned that one up so that I'm looking at those 2 right now. All good there? Yep. We okay on how to solve them? Yep. Now let's be honest with each other. Decimal's the best thing for you? No. No. Wouldn't it be nice if there weren't any decimals? Okay, so if you want to use this, I'm going to show you how to not deal with decimals, if you want to do it this way. Ready? How many spots do you move the decimal here to make this a whole number? 2. How many here? So if you don't want decimals, go ahead, move the decimals over. Watch, ready? And if you don't like that equation, deal with this one instead. 34x plus, keep going with me, 4y, but you better do it to everything. So not 7, but 7. Okay. If you guys like that better, use these 2 now. I don't care. All right. But if you want to deal with the decimals, you better be neat and organized, which is not some of your strong suits. All right. So everybody good. If you don't want to deal with decimals, move them over, but you got to make sure you move everything over the same amount. We good on 3? Yep. Then once you get the answer, no, Ben. Once you get x, that's your answer. Doesn't matter if you use these 2 or if you use these 2. Doesn't matter. You're going to get the answer. And that answer, by the way, should be, just so everybody knows, x is 10 milliliters. Y is 90. Should add up to 100. Okay, so when you go try that problem out. Okay, I don't need to say much about 5. There's nothing to set up. There's your region. You got to plug it into your objective function, which is already given up here. That's going to be a multiple choice question. And just to let you guys know, the max is 10 and the min is 2 on this problem, what they're looking for. Okay, there's nothing else I need to tell you there. Okay. We doing all right before we get to a big dog? 1. Okay. 7. We just finished these the last 2 days of class. This is our objective, restrictions, max, what allows us for the max. So go ahead, read through about our writing and our newsprint. All right, X is going to be writing paper, Y is going to be newsprint. Ready for the objective? Profit. You're trying to maximize profit now, which means money, money, money. How much is it for, I'll start with X, which is writing paper. So 500 X plus, what about for my newsprint? There you go. You guys got it already? So there's your objective. That's what you plug into. You do not graph that. You plug it into it. Next up, inequalities. Equipment allows at most 200 units of paper. That includes writing and newsprint. Let's set an inequality up. What do we think here? Writing and newsprint at most 200. X plus Y is at most less than or equal to 200. There's the first one. Done. Take a breath. Require at least 10 units of writing paper. What do we call writing paper? Which variable? At least 10 units. And at least 80 units of newsprint. What do we call newsprint? It's greater than or equal to 80. Perfect. There it is. One last thing before because you guys will graph it and everything else. One last thing. Somebody asked me in my 5th period class, it was a good question. Will I do this? Like part A, do this, part B, do this, part C? No. All right, here you go. I don't care. That's what I'm going to do at the end. Okay, just tell me the number of regular jet skis, deluxe, and what's the profit. Okay, but you guys will have to do everything in between. I'm not going to hold your hand and do part A, B, and C for that. All right, good. So you guys can. I just got to give you the answer though, right? That would help. The answer for this one, ready? 120, 80, and $88,000. Okay. Good. Number 9. Next up. Number 9. All right. Go ahead and read about Marina. We'll set it up and then I'm done. You guys are on your own. 84%. Can they do it as a class? Anybody know how many variables I'm going to have here? 3. Good. All right, here we go. X will be the money we put into, what's our first account? 4%. Money in 4%. And then Y will be money in 5.5. And Z will be money in 6%. Okay, here we go. 24,500 to invest. 3 variables, 3 equations. So you got 24,500 to invest. What are we looking at? First equation. Any help? Not yet. Not yet. I haven't put it into the account yet. I just got a total amount of money. What do you got, Spencer?
X plus Y plus Z equals 24,500.
Oh, perfect. All the money added up.
So you wouldn't do like the percent in front of those?
That's coming up because look, at the end of the year, she made $1,300 in interest. So after she put it into the account, that's how much she made, $1,300. So that's going to go now with my second equation, which is, how do you write 4%? 0.04 x plus 5.5, 0.055 y plus 0.06 z is equal to 1,300. Hey, remember what we just talked about? If you don't like decimals, anybody, what can I change this all into now? If I don't want this equation, I could write instead what and use it without decimals. Be careful here. Yep. Okay. Hey, everyone sees, I'll move it 2. Well, that's not going to help me if I move it 2 right here. So I got to move everything 3, right? So really it would be what? 40x plus 55y plus, keep going with me, 60z equals not 1,300. How many zeros do I have to add on? Well, you tell me how many times you move this decimal place. 3, right? So I got to add on 3 more. So if you rather not deal, I know they're larger numbers, but they're not decimals, right? All right, I need one more equation though. The amount of money in the 4% account, what was the variable?
That's
X was equals 4 times the amount in the 5.5.
That's Y 4.
Equals 4. What are you, some of you guys aren't going to like about that? What aren't you going to like about that? There's no Z, right? If you want a Z, just add on 0Z if you need it. All right, if that's going to affect you. I don't know. Okay. All right, let me give you the answers to this one. And then you guys are on your own, however you want to start doing these problems. Okay, in the 4% account, you should end up with $8,000. In the 5.5%, 2,000. And in the 6%, 14,500. Woo.
That's why.
Wherever you want to start, wherever you want to go, I'll sit down with you if you need my help at all, guys. Decide wisely how you're going to study. This is your free reign. You want to work with somebody else? Yeah, great. Go ahead. If you want to work alone, great. Go ahead. But remember, everyone's going solo for 84% or above on Friday. Class average, yes. If you want next week off.